You're listening to The Raw Reaction on the Angry Marks Podcast Network.
Welcome to Monday night, June 22nd. It is I, Angry Tensai, with my main man, Big Vic. And, for those of you who stuck with us tonight, we want to apologize for being a little belated. But if you're downloading this off the website or iTunes, doesn't matter anyway. Vic, where are you coming at us from tonight?
I am coming out of Lexington, Kentucky this evening.
Wow, the home of none other than Killer Kev.
Yes, actually, I had quite the honor this evening of breaking bread with Killer Kev, which was obviously the highlight of my year thus far.
Where'd you guys go?
Applebee's.
What'd you have?
Oh man, we had wonton tacos.
Nice.
Yeah, they're pretty good. They didn't taste as good as the pictures. And then I had a little sirloin, and they had a spinach and tomatoes, and it was pretty healthy looking.
Yeah. Wonton tacos, it's almost as good as our very own Brock Lesnar being back, which we're all excited about. But you know what? As great as Brock Lesnar is, and him being back is, there's nothing better than our own Killer Kev, who's been the heart and soul of the Angry Marks lineup for years. So it leads me to tonight's Raw was about families coming back together, just like you and Killer Kev getting the family back together tonight in Kentucky. It was all about Seth Rollins getting the band back together tonight, that being J&J Security and Kane. And throughout the night, Seth Rollins subtly tried to get back his partners in crime by helping Kane beat Dean Ambrose in what was a hotly contested match. But throughout all the things that Rollins did throughout the night, it was very clear that J&J and Kane wanted nothing to do with him, up until he got the sage advice from one Triple H and Stephanie McMahon, which was to, from your heart, apologize if you really truly mean it. So, you know what? I did like the Authority coming together tonight. Although it took 3 hours to do so, I thought it was very interesting, and I'm glad they're back together. What do you think?
You know what? I was sort of getting tired. By the end of the show, I was getting tired of the storyline. No matter what was happening, it felt like it was dragging on. I have a question for you. You saw Brock Lesnar's, obviously, I guess it was last week, he had the Suplex City shirt on.
Yes.
With, at the exit for, I believe it was Columbus, Ohio.
Yes.
Maybe it was Cleveland, Ohio. This week they have Louisville, Kentucky. Or I'm sorry, no, this week they have Indianapolis, Indiana.
Correct.
Now, if I wanted to get a Suplex City shirt with the city of Bayville listed on it, Bayville, New Jersey.
You know what's crazy, buddy? I can answer this. You want to hear something ridiculous? When I saw him come out with the shirt and the city name was on it, I kid you not, I immediately went to Google and I was like, you know what? If this is a customizable shirt, I'd pay up to $35 for the shirt, which I would think is ridiculous for a t-shirt. But I figured, because of what I saw as well, I looked it up on WWE Shop Zone, and unfortunately, that little sign underneath where it says Indianapolis, Indiana is not on the t-shirts that you buy. It's just they're all generic Suplex City, same exit, but you can't customize them. But I looked it up myself. It's funny you asked that, because that was the first thing I thought, and of course I would have put Bayville on it. So I actually did what you said. It's pretty funny.
That's awesome. I think we need to write letters to WWE and ask them to make them customizable Suplex City shirts because
I think people would buy it.
Absolutely. I mean, shit.
Everybody loves their hometown.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and especially Bayville. I mean, shit. You'll sell. There's like 20,000 people in Bayville. I assume you'd sell 25,000 shirts, and that's if people. That's if people only get one each and don't order multiple for the children.
I know about 22 people that would buy them in Bayville alone.
Yeah, I mean, there's like 20,000 people in Bayville, I assume. So, I mean, they can sell one to every single person in Bayville.
Well, I'm telling you, Brock Lesnar's got a buzz and a vibe back with him in WWE, and they Brock apologized through Paul Heyman for us that we had to go through Raw the last few weeks and watch the wrestle crap we've been asked to endure. Their own words. They're back and they're gonna give us good wrestling and sports entertainment that we deserve. So it's good to see Brock back.
Yes, and we talk a little bit later about the match that Brock Lesnar had later in the show as well to save us from this wrestle crap.
What match?
Exactly. He didn't really save us. He didn't save us from this wrestle crap. He cut a promo that didn't address it.
An expensive promo.
Yeah, I was gonna say probably like $100,000 chatting him like there, and backstage too. He did a little talking or did a little showing up on camera at least.
You know what's funny? I actually thought like when Dean Ambrose came out for the first match, and I was kind of like, well, this is his first match since the first match at least on Raw that I can remember since the big feud with Rollins. I was kind of like excited to who was going to come out and challenge him, and it was Kane. And I said, you know, this is actually going to be a good match. These are two guys that have been on a roll. And although it was with Seth Rollins' interference, I thought to myself, geez, Kane has really kicked ass over the last 4 months. I mean, he pretty much won every big match he's been in. Yeah.
I mean, really, it's been pretty impressive.
I mean, it was like a year before that. He didn't win one. I mean, he would lose every friggin' match. But, man, are they booking him strong now? You know, I mean, I don't mind it. I'm sure a lot of people have a problem with it, but I personally don't.
No, and you know what? Hey, it's good to have him. It's good to have him as a solid performer and not just sort of like a B-class play who will wrestle Daniel Bryan when needed.
Yeah, I did like that Kane immediately after the match. He didn't beat Seth Rollins up, but he didn't thank him either. Rollins was like, well, why don't we get the band back together? And Kane's like, dude, the only reason you're talking to me is because you're afraid of Brock Lesnar. You know, I'm not helping you. And I thought that was interesting. And, you know, Kane's obviously gotten a little bit older. Old Kane probably would have beat his ass right there. But I thought that was cool. I just thought it was a cool segment. It just shows Kane just kind of like sees through his bullshit. I thought it was cool. Kane's a company guy, you know, but he's not stupid. Anyway, the next match we had tonight was the Primetime Players versus the Ascension. I didn't like this match, man. You know, I really thought the Ascension would have a chance to win this thing. They were in the ring at this time. I was still positive it was a non-title match, so I was like, you know, maybe the Ascension will win. They didn't really have a very good outing. They got pretty much dominated by the Primetime Players. And Darren Young actually beat Rick Victor by himself as they were left in the ring. And I thought to myself, as much as I like the Primetime Players, they've probably, and I hate to say this, they're probably the worst tag team champions in probably like the last 2 years. I mean, they're pretty bad.
Yeah, they really are. I thought, like, that's the thing, earlier this year, I thought we were, like, in sort of a good place with the tag team division. I mean, not great, not getting overly booked, but, I mean, I just feel like ever since the title switched hands, there's no support behind the Primetime Players.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're a good team to chase the belts. I just don't think they're a good team as the champions. And I like them. The crowd's just dead for all their matches. Like at least with this one tonight, for sure.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm a little worried about tag division. I'm not surprised that this is happening. I hate that they're getting buried, but I don't know. I just feel like it's just sort of par for the course, and we should get used to it.
Well, you know what was kind of cool? Is speaking of tag teams, I did enjoy the Neville versus Kofi Kingston match. I thought that was a really good match. Did you see that match?
I'm sorry, say that one more time.
The Neville versus Kofi Kingston match.
I did see this match, and you know what? I liked it. There was a little bit of a little bit of drama on the outside of the match, leading up to a very cool finish. I like some of the shenanigans by the New Day on the outside. I saw Xavier Woods, I guess it was, pick up a camera from one of the camera side stagehands to take pictures during the match. Start taking some pictures of Kofi in a good position over Neville.
I think the New Day are going to get the tag titles back. They have a title shot at the Battleground pay-per-view, and I don't see the primetime players winning this match. I think the New Day are absolutely going to get the tag titles back without a doubt. This match itself was actually a really good match, and Kofi got control thanks to a little bit of interference by the New Day. Primetime players came out, interfered, caused them to get ejected, causes New Day to get ejected. Kofi loses focus in the match. Adrian Neville wins with a drop kick followed by a red arrow to score the win. One thing that I thought was interesting is I actually thought Kofi was going to win this match because I don't know if you know this, but the big show they have in July, on the 4th of July in Japan, did you know that Kofi Kingston is actually booked to face Brock Lesnar? That's his opponent in July, Vic?
Yep.
Do you know that?
What's that?
In Japan, on the 4th, the big show they're having, Kofi Kingston's actually booked to take on Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, that ought to be interesting. I definitely see some interference by the rest of the New Day in the Land of the Rising Sun. So it'll be interesting to see how they actually book around that. Because I definitely don't see Steve or
I think it's kind of
Brock
cool.
Lesnar taking a loss.
No. I think it's going to be a cool match. I mean, I think it's kind of cool that Kofi Kingston's getting the match. It's kind of random for sure.
Yeah, there's no backstory here except, hey, you know what? They're in Japan and Land of the Rising Sun and Kofi Kingston. But there's no backstory, and unfortunately, I think Kofi Kingston's probably still a pretty big face there out in Japan from his recent world travels in wrestling.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens at the match, but I'm really surprised, given he has that match, that he lost so I wouldn't say convincingly, but he did lose. He did lose. I mean, period. I mean, I know it was kind of a bullshit, and that's the thing. I mean, WWE and the trade finishes, and nobody loses clean. I mean, you look at the Ambrose Kane match, and then this match, it's all these bullshit finishes. I mean, I don't know. It really is disappointing. I mean, you got to have winners and losers. If you watch a UFC pay-per-view, you know, they're all clean wins or losses or a decision. It's not all bullshit finishes. So, I don't know. It's just disappointing. Wade Barrett goes over Zack Ryder. No surprise there. What else happened? So, very heated interview between Kevin Owens and John Cena. Kevin Owens, before they have a segment on the stage, talks about how the reason he didn't shake John Cena's hand at the pay-per-view is he knew that John Cena was just stealing the spotlight, and John Cena shook his hand because he had to, and he sees through John Cena. More of the same when they get on the stage. Kevin Owens says the reason he's fighting John Cena is he wants his U.S. title because of how important it is to John Cena, and the title will define a legacy, and that's why he wants it. And John Cena then continues to talk about how much the title means to him, how much we, the fans, mean to him, and how he will not lose the title to Kevin Owens. So, glad to see we are going to see the rubber match between these guys. What do you think is going to happen? I think you might fall asleep. That would be might be what happens.
What's that? You think I'm going to fall asleep? Never.
No, but I want to know, what do you think is going to happen in the rubber match between Owens and Cena?
You know what? I almost feel like it might be something where they get like a double disqualification, double count out, draw. I really see this feud culminating at SummerSlam.
So you think it's going to keep going after this?
I do, because shit, this is hands down, this is the most entertaining shit they have.
Oh
right
yeah,
now.
definitely. It's heated. I mean, I know these guys in real life really respect each other, but you sure wouldn't. I mean, they're so good at what they do and on the mic. Especially when Cena was calling calling Owens a scumbag. I thought that was pretty cool. But I don't know. I agree with you. It's the hottest thing they have on TV. Why rush it, right? I guess you're right. Maybe they'll have a double count out or something.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just that's somebody who's just gonna. No, I don't see an end to this, and I hope there's not. To be honest with you, I hope they do the best out of 20 series and just keep going till WrestleMania.
It's pretty good. I mean, honestly, I originally didn't want Cena to win. Not that I didn't want Cena to win the second match. I just kind of thought, like, what's the point of John Cena just winning if he already won or already lost the other one? But then I'm thinking to myself, wow, they actually did the ballsy thing and booked the rubber match. And now that they did, I'm actually glad Cena won because it makes this match really important. So I agree with you. I think this is going to be big. And, I don't know what's going to happen with Brock Lesnar and Rollins, but, I assume Brock Lesnar's going to go over and win the title back, but it seems to be the popular opinion that he won't. Man, could you imagine Kevin Owens and Brock Lesnar getting in there? That would be pretty cool.
Yeah. I think I don't know what do you see? What do you see happening at Battleground with that?
I don't know. I mean, it really depends on what WWE truly thinks of Kevin Owens. I thought it was interesting tonight that in character he said, I've been called fat and out of shape or whatever. And Kevin Owens is a bigger guy, but I would hardly say he's a complete slob because he's not. He's just he's got a beer belly and probably eats a lot of food, but he's definitely a pretty stout dude for sure. So I don't think he's an embarrassment to be your champion or anything like that. I think he truly looks like somebody you would not want to fight for sure. He's not a joke by any means. So if WWE buys into that, which it really appears they do, I mean, they let him beat John Cena. I don't see how you can let this guy lose the feud because you do need to build big stars. John Cena will go on and do big things regardless. I mean, he put Rusev down. And it's not like this is at WrestleMania. So, I can't see any reason why you'd even have this feud if Kevin Owens isn't going to win the feud. So I'm picking Kevin Owens.
Wow, that's a good pick there. I mean, it's interesting. I just don't know. I almost feel like they're booking themselves into a corner here with how it's going to turn out. You either need some sort of attacking false finish.
You say that a lot, but that's why the bookers are so bad at WWE. They do book themselves continuously into corners. They don't book to end feuds. Once in a while they do, like Rusev Cena. I mean that was booked to me correctly. Maybe not. It shouldn't have been 3-1. But if you're gonna book something, you need to have a definitive winner. I don't think that's in a corner. I think that's the point of booking. To me, booking in a corner is, to your point, not having a decisive winner at this one and then just letting it hang. Like, I still don't think Ambrose Rollins is solved. I at all. I mean, Ambrose basically truly won, and Rollins won on a bullshit. The belt fell in his hand. So, I don't know, man. I don't know what to say. I just think Owens has to win.
Yeah, and you know what?
To win.
I think that he will. But where does he go from here, though? I mean, who does he feud with? Lesnar if he's the champion?
Owens is going to go right to the top. So even though he has the U.S. title, he did say he's there to win titles. His character is there to fight for belts. So I can't see Kevin Owens doing any other thing except going after the world title. Now, logically, the way they were booking Sami Zayn, you could have... it's too late now because he's out for the rest of the year. But what could have happened here to buy a little bit of time is this is where you could have inserted Sami Zayn in because he's Owens' all-time nemesis in other federations, and they've it's perfect right now for him to beat Cena and then have that feud. But that's just not going to happen. who knows? And they might bring Samoa Joe up, who he's feuding with in NXT, and that would be a big feud before the Brock Lesnar match. I don't know. I mean, I would You want to sell tickets, dude? You have him beat John Cena, and at SummerSlam you have Lesnar and Owens headline. That'll be the biggest match WWE's had in a very, 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 very long time. Agree?
Oh my God, that would be. I'd probably stay away from Battleground or when the announcement's made right up until SummerSlam. I'd be so excited about it because I could see those two having a classic match. That's
a lack of sleep. You'd fall asleep because you can't even make it through a Monday night, let alone 2 months on edge. Two things I want to talk about. So this is not what I want to talk about. Dolph Ziggler beats Adam Rose. That happened tonight. Ziggler with a decisive win. That's great. Two things I want to talk about. Ryback versus Mark Henry. Can I tell you, I loved Big Show on commentary. Did you?
Yeah, I mean, he really added to it. It was funny because he was like cheering on and almost like he has an interest in seeing the two people involved in the match lose, but he was literally like just cheering on, openly cheering on what's his name? Mark Henry during the match.
Well, these guys in 11-12 had a huge feud over SmackDown's world title. I mean, it went on for a while. I mean, and Daniel Bryan was in the middle of it. So there's a lot of history between the Big Show and Mark Henry. I thought it was I thought it was kind of cool. And this is a WrestleMania, I think 29 or 30 rematch. That was the one where Ryback had Mark Henry up for the shell shock, and Mark Henry actually fell on top of Ryback and what looked pretty brutal on TV and pinned him. That didn't happen here tonight. Mark Henry really couldn't get it going. Ryback won with the meat hook and then used a Rob Van Dam-like frog splash. That was somewhat shocking. And won the match with it. And Big Show was really funny, I thought, at ringside saying, the big guy calls himself the big guy. He's not really a big guy. He thinks he is, but guys like me and Mark Henry truly are.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, this has sort of been an ongoing thing with him. I'm still impressed that is Ryback's first championship.
Yeah,
so I feel like he's going to hold on to the strap for a little while here. Build up some credibility. Maybe not be a fighter like every week. Maybe not putting people over left and right like John Cena these days. But that's not a bad thing.
I feel like he's too good for the IC title. I hate to say it like that, but that's okay. He's doing a good job. I like him as champ. What I did like after the match, I did. When Mark Henry was, appeared to be hurt after the match, Big Show came up to him and was giving him real shit for not winning the match. And Mark Henry kind of pushed Big Show really hard. And Big Show just kind of looked back at Mark Henry and just shook his head and walked away. And he didn't run away or anything. He just kind of looked at him like, dude, what's wrong with you? And just walked away. It shows that there's some kind of relationship between Big Show and Mark Henry. Because Big Show, if he wanted to, especially Mark Henry State at that point, Big Show could have easily floored him. And he chose not to. So I expect to see more between Big Show and Mark Henry. And I liked it. I don't know why, but I liked it.
Wow. It's like you're predicting the next first hour of the next 6 weeks of Raw. Big Show, Mark Henry, lead up matches.
Dude, it just goes back to the fact that I like all the Attitude Era guys. I cheer for all of them. I like every single one of them, and Mark Henry and Big Show are two of them. Ryback, I thought it was funny. Ryback had a really odd interview backstage with JoJo, and he goes, "Did you see that frog splash I did? Don't go calling me Flyback." I thought that was not funny and weird. And then Big Show came back and made it even weirder and was like, "Oh, you want to call yourself the big guy? You're just a little guy." And then Ryback beat him senseless and threw him into a bunch of crates and through a door and just killed Big Show. It was a really weird segment, but it was funny. And I don't think it was intended to be funny.
Yeah, much better.
Yes. Divas, real quick. I really don't want to say too much about what happened. Bella's won their match against Naomi and Tamina, but it appears Paige is trying to lead an assault against the Bellas, and the Divas do not want to support Paige. They want to support the Bellas. And I assume that the NXT girls are going to come up and try and fight the WWE girls because there's really no one to help Paige, and I think that's where they're going. And they're establishing the Bellas' dominance in the meantime as a result. Would you like to see that?
I would. I really would.
Why?
Because I think it's going to be an entertaining matchup in the future.
Do you want to see Becky Lynch on your TV?
You know who I want to see on my TV?
Who?
I want to see. I hear there's a new face of the WWE.
Chickenhead?
Chickenhead.
It has to be.
Also, the original Miss Jailbait, Kevin or Aaron Thomas Haskell.
Wow. Can you say
Think
that?
about it. I
Can you
did.
say that name on the air?
I don't know. You know what? Kev gets paid to figure that out, so we're gonna have to leave that up to Killer Kev to see what happens. But Aaron Thomas Haskell, a local Bayville, New Jersey legend for some of her exploits.
I love what I'm hearing, man.
Wow, I don't know. I think she'd come in. I think she'd come in as a heel, but once people realize like her story, face all the way.
She was friends with your sister and slept over your house.
She slept over my house 15 years later, sleeping with 13-year-olds.
That's gross, and she's a bad person.
Yes, she is. However, I've contemplated trying to bake a file into a cake for her and bringing it to Ocean County Jail for her to enjoy.
You do realize you're conspiring on the air, right?
Yeah, I said I've thought about that. In my sleep-deprived state, sometimes I don't have the most logical thoughts, but that's one I've truly thought of. Trying to file her out. I'm not talking about giving a file to like convicted killers or anything like the lady in upstate New York. I'm talking about just to Miss Haskell Thomas, who, to be honest with you, I would still let sleep over my house anytime she wants.
Well, I'm not sure how to segue that into the main event segment, but I will try. Speaking of people that could be imprisoned, Brock Lesnar comes back out as Seth Rollins gets the family back together, and the family does a fake out that they are going to they're going to leave Brock alone in the ring. And that was not, Vic, what happened. The family stood behind Brock Lesnar. How'd you feel about that?
You know what? I mean, I feel like the WWE is running parallel storylines between Seth Rollins and AJ Lee.
Really?
I'm sorry, not AJ Lee. Nikki Bella or Paige versus Nikki Bella.
They are somewhat similar.
What's that?
They are somewhat similar.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, hey, I want to do this and bring you guys on my team, and they're basically, I mean, I'm thinking that they should sign up, or I'm thinking that Seth Rollins maybe bring some talent up from NXT, which I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind seeing. I don't know who they could really bring up at this point. I feel like they've gotten a lot of talent out of there.
They're not going to do that. They're not going to do it. If they brought all these guys back together, and honestly, although Brock got the better of Kane and J&J at first, ultimately, they got over on Brock tonight. And I can't remember the last time Brock was definitively beaten down. I mean, although it took 4 guys to do it, I mean, they pedigreed him and left him there. I mean, that I was very surprised. Very surprised.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm thinking this can be interesting moving forward as far as leading up to the pay-per-view. What are your predictions on the championship?
I can't see anyone. I mean, I don't know. People are going to say their own thing, but I think Brock Lesnar wins in a big way. I mean, he's not going to lose. No way.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not as confident as you. I think that I think Rollins finds a way to win. I mean, he's used the title, and he has so many enemies that he can run. He can run a series against. There's so many people who hate him. With that, wouldn't take that. It's not going to take a month and a half to build up the series. I mean, he could shoot. He could go back. He could start with a series with Kane. Have that, bang it out in 2 weeks. Maybe not pay for equality match, but hey, you could throw something on there, quick turnaround. Ambrose, Rollins, Lesnar. I mean, the list goes on as far as who he has really, in a lot of cases, dominated.
He's been the man for sure. For sure.
Now, I have a question for you, and I'm not sure we talked about this. Sheamus versus Roman Reigns.
Terrible.
Oh my God! You could hear a fucking pin drop in the arena when. I mean, I guess Reigns, he was sitting there waiting for the count out, and that was probably the tackiest promo ever. And you could just hear, like, literally, you could drop the pin, and you would have heard it bounce as many times as it needed, and that was it. It was. I mean, I felt like it was like watching WrestleMania when Lesnar beat Undertaker. It was just such a shock to people.
It was just terrible. It was not a good match. And they're, I don't know, they're both kind of parallel to each other in the sense that you got the heel that can't get over and the face that can't get completely over. So, I mean, I don't know. It wasn't my cup of tea. I don't know.
Okay, that's a good conundrum considering they were having a pretend tea party there. I think this could be made so much more. This could be, in reality, second, maybe third biggest match in a pay-per-view. I mean, these guys are bona fide stars.
You're being serious. No.
Are we talking about? We're talking about Roman Reigns.
Yeah, Reigns and Sheamus. Are you kidding me?
No. I'm not talking about the match. I'm talking about. I mean, Sheamus is what he is, but I'm talking about Roman Reigns and Bray Wyatt.
Oh yeah, definitely. They're a great feud. You know, it's all matchups, man. I'm not saying Sheamus sucks or Roman Reigns completely sucks. You got to put them in the right feuds. They're too similar. I mean, and Bray Wyatt brings a whole nother dynamic. You know, anything you put him in is going to be good.
But I hate the build up for this. I absolutely hate the build up for this match. They could be doing this. Shoot, they could even be involved in Ambrose and the rest of the rest of the Wyatt family.
Right.
And have a 3-on-2 match leading up to it, and really just build it up. I mean, they had the WWE universe building out in their hands, eating out their hands this year at Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We'll see what happens with these guys, but you know, Battleground seems to be interesting so far. I mean, you got two matches you know we're going to deliver: Owens and Cena, and Rollins and Lesnar. So that it's going to be good. It'll be interesting. But that's really everything that happened on Raw this week.
Cool deal. Well, do you have anything else you want to go over? Killer Cab, do you have any plugs here for us?
I believe he is not on the air at the moment. And he does not, because I asked him before we came on the air, and that pretty much is it. Hopefully everybody had a chance to tune in tonight, and we'll catch up with everybody next week. We thank you for tuning in, and we apologize for starting about 10 minutes late tonight, but next week we will be on time and ready to go. So thanks again. Hope you guys enjoyed the show, and we'll talk to you next week. Killer Kev, hit the music.